Hello everyone, Greg here, Stephen behind the camera. Just wanted to reach out to everyone and give you a snapshot of this corn crop and where it's currently at. Today we're just south of St. Joseph, between St. Joe and Sidney, in a field of corn that was planted, I believe, about May the 12th, so that mid-May planting time frame. And we had a fairly narrow window in mid-May, where there was a lot of corn in this area, in our area, planted, and this is a pretty good representation of that. The mid-May planting corn is in the R4 stage, which means, of course, it's yellow now, got a dark brown silk, but we've got quite a few of the kernels are starting to dent. They're in the dent stage. Not all of them, but some of them, and that's pretty uniformly where the mid-May corn is at. The other window of corn that we've been looking at here is any of the corn planted in April is an R5, which is almost 100% dented, moving right along. I think there are probably fields where you'll start being able to see a moisture line develop on that April planted corn, depending on what part of the month April was planted in. The last window of corn that was planted would be the end of May and the first couple, 3 days of June, before the big rain on the night of June 3rd. That corn is just stepped into R3, which is the milk stage. It's a pale yellow now. We're past the blister stage, and that corn is moving right along. So overall, as a general rule, as we look at this corn, we've been in a lot of corn the last 10 days, and no matter what your planting window is, this corn overall seems to be very healthy. We're just not finding a lot out there. There's a little bit of gray in this field in the lower canopy, maybe the bottom 3 leaves. We're not really finding much for foliar diseases from the ear leaf on up. Just about, doesn't matter what planting date is. Physoderma stalk spot is out there. We don't see it where it's chronic, where it's got into the nodes of the corn plant, which could actually make that snap off if it gets really bad. Just not seeing it to that level. There is some physoderma on the corn leaves that came in early, actually quite a while ago, and it's pretty well stabilized. We saw that more in the end of May, first few days of June planting. There's been some talk about aphids. I would encourage everybody, if you do have corn planted end of May, first few days of June, there was a final window towards almost mid-June on a few fields of corn. Keep an eye on those for aphids. That's where they're going to go. So far, we have not noticed any in this area, but I hear reports that there are some. Just make a note of that. So the bug pressure's been very minimal. I will note that we're going to go to soybeans here real quick. We are finding some corn rootworm beetles in soybeans. Certain fields have some have none. We were in a field, I believe 2 days ago, that was loaded with rootworm beetles. So keep that in mind as we go into next year. You know, when you're out looking at your soybeans, keep an eye out for rootworm beetles. They're starting to make a comeback. So as this corn crop starts to move closer to the finish line, let's talk about some of the variables that we have in play that we can't control. The first one, just a little bit on the weather. The weather has been about as good as I can remember. It's been ideal to finish this crop. We've had abundant sunshine, cool night temperatures, nice temperatures in the day, good degree days we've been accumulating, and the corn just loves this sunshine. I know there's some concern going in to these 90-degree temps this coming week. We've been doing a little bit of digging here the last couple of days, and there's more moisture in the ground than what we think. I know we've went probably longer than we have in a long time without any rain. We're still sitting pretty good. Bear in mind also 90 degrees at the end of August isn't probably have quite the same effect as 90 degrees in July because of the angle of the sun. So I think we're going to be okay there. My concern on these temperatures coming up might be the mid-June, that June 10th, 11th, 12th corn could have some effects there, and possibly that first part of June. Those plants might have a little effect on the ear development with those hot temperatures. But other than that, I think we'll get through that pretty good. Nitrogen utilization, something else that we always need to finish a crop strong. Overall, we're seeing a few differences in nitrogen programs. but mineralization has been excellent. Once in a while we'll find a spot in a field here and there where we start to see some deficiencies, but overall we're not seeing anything alarming. We're getting really good uptake by these plants, and I look for that to finish strong also. So as you're out looking at your fields, which I always encourage everyone to do from time to time, just to kind of always keep a handle on things, as you can see, where we're standing in this field here currently, the corn looks really good. We've got a good stand. We've got level ear placement, fairly uniform plants. I guess this spot would check, and it looks really good. But I just want to remind everybody, let's not also forget as we get into this fall. Let's remember those spots. And I had countless conversations and phone calls back in June, early July, when we were post-applying our corn herbicides and the guys were side dressing. I remember them telling me, Greg, I really had some bad looking spots out there in the field, some really thin spots. It's hard to find those spots when you're out here walking around, but let's not forget when the combines roll that those spots are still out there. The plants that are there, from what I have seen, as a general rule, have developed and are doing really well, but we've got some stands that are substandard, and let's not forget about those when we get in there at harvest, because we know how prevalent those were back in when the corn was at V4, V5, when we were working in the field. So in closing, next week we'll follow up with a short video of what I encourage everybody, a method I encourage you to use when you're scouting your fields any time of the year. It works from right after the corn plants emerge all the way through black layer, and we'll be saying that to you later next week with a follow-up. As this corn gets closer to black layer, starts to be a little bit more fun to look at. The hybrid portfolio that you have, those hybrids will start showing their individual characteristics more at black layer. And hopefully we're finishing this crop with a nice upright plant with a dry husk and a green canopy from the ear leaf up. That's what we're always striving for. So we will follow up next week with you on that, and hope everybody has a good day, and thank you.